Hey guys, welcome back to News with Sonic, where we discuss comics, movies, games, and more. And today, I got a new review of Loki, episode 2, titled The Variant. Now, I'm having a lot of fun with this series so far, and one thing I really like about the series, besides the fact that it has awesome actors, Tom Hiddleston as Loki is great as always, is that the series is actually, each episode is like the longest out of all the Marvel Studio series that we've gotten so far, like WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, to be, for example. But this series is on a whole different level when it comes to episodes and stories that they got to tell. So Loki episode 2, the variant, basically follows the TVA on hunts for this variant Loki that's causing mayhem and just killing people and pretty much stealing like these time resets, like these devices that the TVA uses to reset time, so that way everything gets back on the proper way of the timeline rather than these branches that are start to branch out when like something in the timeline happens and causing like different realities to exist. So they're looking for this Loki, and supposedly this Loki is like the dangers of all Loki variants. And Loki has like this ego to himself where he feels himself to be more superior, and it's just like it's an awesome episode. I mean, Loki is such a likable character. He went from like bad guy from like the Avengers in 2012 when he got taken to the TVA, and he just instantaneously became, so willing to work with the TVA because of everything that he's found out in the first episode. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and check it out. But Loki episode 2 really it really follows the team, the TVA, Mobius and Loki looking for the variants, trying to figure out where this bad Loki will appear, and they find out, just a long story short, that they find out that Loki, this variant, appears during the times of destruction, basically like end of the world, apocalyptic events. So you see Loki trying to figure it out, trying to put the pieces together, asking for like classified files that he doesn't have access to, because overall the current Loki, as they call him, the variant, which we know of from like the Avengers movie, is trying to gain access to the timekeepers. Now the timekeepers are actually featured kind of prominently here in this episode, in the form of statues, of course. They're very focused, at least they're in the background, if not. But it's kind of interesting to see that we're seeing a lot more of the timekeepers in throughout this episode very prominently, and I'm hoping that we might see them make an appearance, and perhaps like in the very last episode of Loki. And I just hope it's not like a Wizard of Oz thing, because like you can sense that there's some sort of cynicism, like sinister things happening behind the scenes. And I think Mobius and I forgot the character that Gugu plays, the actress here. I forgot what she's here with Mobius in this scene, and you can see like the timekeeper statues in the back. I forgot the character she plays, but sometime in the near future, I'm pretty sure she's gonna get down to the bottom of this, because if you see some of the things in the background of her office, she used to be a time variant soldier, got promoted, became a judge, but I think it goes on to investigate the timekeepers, because there's something that like these people do without question, and that is just basically follow the orders of the timekeepers' requests without questions and without even like getting involved. They just basically listen and they do what they're told, basically. But I believe there's some sinister things going on. And there was like a really good quote in this episode where Loki utters, and that quote is that no one bad is ever truly bad, and no one good is ever truly good. And I think that quote in itself specifically ties into this series. Whereas, the timekeepers in this case think that they're doing this for the good of the whole universe. And when they actually think that they're good, they're really not actually good. They may have some sinister plot behind all this good act. A quote from The Dark Knight basically is, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And I'm thinking like, what if there is some sinister events going on? What if like the Loki that they're chasing, which is Lady Loki, by the way, no surprise there, kind of give it away. There were some clips from the trailer that kind of gave off that this was going to be a Lady Loki, some sort of amalgamation of a Lady Loki, basically, that combines like one character of Lady Loki and another character, perhaps like I think the Enchantress sister, or the Enchantress itself. I can't say her name correctly. And we get like this amalgamation of a Loki, and we get this Lady Loki that we see in the episode. So I'm kind of thinking like, what if this is a misstep? Like, what if this is a misdirect from the actual creators of the series itself? What if Lady Loki is doing this for the right reasons, you know, for good reasons? What if Lady Loki has a plot to deter the timekeepers from achieving their goals? And whatever goal that is, we'll find out soon enough. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this episode. And if you haven't had the chance to check out Loki episode 2, The Variant, I highly suggest you do check it out because it is a really fun time. The characters like, you know, Tom Hiddleston that plays Loki and of course Owen Wilson that plays Mobius. It's always fun to see those two on screen, man. They make me smile, they make me laugh. It's always a great time whenever those two are on screen because they have really good chemistry and they bounce well off of each other. It's always great. And also some of the Easter eggs that we get to see here, some callbacks as well. Like when Loki's looking through some of the files, he picked up like a paper, a document that stated the destruction of Asgard. Now, he hadn't known about this because remember, this Loki was pulled from 2012. The current Loki that died in Avengers Endgame, of course, experienced Ragnarok. But when he found out that the destruction of his home had occurred, he was devastated, obviously. I mean, he shed a little bit of a tear in his eye there. And this Easter egg, now it's actually kind of easy to miss if you're not paying attention, but there's like a big old number in the back of number 372. That's actually T372, which is actually Thor number 372, which is actually one of the first few appearances of the TVA. The TVA tend to prominently be featured in a lot of Thor comics and Fantastic Four comics if you're not a big comic book reader. So I thought it was actually kind of cool that Marvel Studios actually threw that in there just for like the comic book fans. In case you've missed it, it's there. There's also a few other Easter eggs throughout it. I already talked about how like there's a lot of timekeepers being featured in this episode as well. And I'm only certain that we're going to be seeing more of those timekeeper statues and whatever imagery they're going to be, you know, showing in future episodes. I only hope we get to see an appearance of the timekeepers because they're actually, you know, basically immortal. They can't die. And I would like to actually see timekeepers on the big screen. And if in case you don't know, this is what they look like in the comics. And pretty much they have it very accurate on the series of Loki. They do appear to be reptilian by design, like they are in the comics, and that's why Loki even calls them space lizards, which I thought was pretty funny. But anyways, I really hope we get to see him once again, and pretty much it ends with Loki obviously betraying the TVA by pursuing Lady Loki through a portal at the very end of the episode, and we'll see where it leads from there. But until next time, guys, I'm going to give Loki episode 2 a B-. It was a fun episode, not the greatest, but it was really fun. Anyways, that's my review for Loki episode 2. What did you guys think of it? Leave your comments down below. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click on bell notifications so you don't miss anything. As always, I will see you all in the next comic panel.